You know, as I'm hiking along here, except for some of the noise of civilization, like some airplanes flying over every now and then, it's easy to imagine yourself kind of back in the day, back in the frontier day, and the mind begins to kind of wonder, well, what if this was back in the frontier day? What would it be like, and how would I be, and what would be different about my gear that I'm carrying? I'd probably have much heavier gear, but much less of it. I would probably have a little more weaponry on me than I have right now. I'm thinking of Daniel Boone specifically. Let me do an aside here. If you're not into books, or if you don't have a lot of time, I don't either, get audiobooks if you can, and you can get them for free from the library. So if you don't have a library card, get a library card, check out some audiobooks, and when you have downtime in the car driving to and from whatever you do, you can listen to the audiobook. It's a little choppy way of doing it, but it gets the job done. Anyway, I listened to an audiobook sometime back on Daniel Boone, and a cool thing that he did, and I'm getting somewhere, stay with me. A cool thing that he did was he would kind of poach Native American land. So he would leave sort of the American area, go west into Kentucky, which was not American at the time, and spend some time on a long hunt, trapping and getting furs. And then he would haul his booty back east and sell it, and that's sort of a way he made part of his living. Well, he was frequently jumped by the Native Americans in that area. I don't know what his percentage success was, but it seems to me, according to the audiobook, they were on to him pretty quick when he came into their area. But they were fairly smart, and what they would do is let him or his crew do all the work, gut the beaver or whatever he was going after for fur, prep all the hides and get ready to be going home, and then they would jump him and take his stuff. So they weren't stupid about it, but he was kind of smart too. What Daniel Boone used to do is he would have a small cache of furs and supplies, or maybe several small caches here and there, and then the real cache somewhere else. And either he would let the natives see him caching furs, and then he would take it to them and say kind of sheepishly, well, you got me, you know, here you go, you guys are smarter than I am. And then they would let him go. You know, he was a very charismatic guy. And then they would part ways, and then he would go get the big cache and take it home. So the little cache was kind of a throwaway. Now, what does that mean to us today? It means a couple of things. It means that your skills surviving, if you're a prepper, if you're concerned about the end of civilization or any of those kind of topics, your connections and your charisma may have a lot to do with your survival. If you do not seem to be a threat, and if you seem to be kind of a friendly guy and, oh gee whiz, you might get along a little better than if you are, you know, dressed like a ranger and with your chin out looking for trouble. Everybody's got their own personalities, I understand that, but Daniel Boone is a good example, I think, of a guy in a very harsh environment who got along just fine. He used his wits and he used his smile, and he did great. So whatever lesson you take from that is maybe you'll learn something. I know I did when I read that book. I wanted to show you one more thing before I forgot about it. I'm trying out some alpaca wool socks. for the first time really out on a serious trail. You can see I've worn them. They're kind of fuzzy, and I've worn them before, but mainly in civilization, not really out here where I have to depend on my feet. So I brought a pair of really good wool socks in case these didn't work out. But so far they're working out good. And one of the really awesome things about alpaca wool is that, like wool, they keep you warm even when they're wet. But unlike a lot of other wools, they dry very, very quickly. The alpaca wool keeps your feet much drier, I feel like, than regular wool. So that's maybe one advantage there. They're very lightweight. They can be washed in the washing machine. Now, how long it's going to last, I don't know. But so far, so good. So if you get a hold of some alpaca wool, a guy near my house, of all places, I live in suburbia, he raises alpacas, and he makes the wool, and he makes these socks. So I bought 2 pairs from him, and so far they've worked out very well. So alpaca wool, yay.